It's a Judge Dredd reference. Now I can say, you look ready.
Okay. Now I'm ready.
He's ready. He's ready. He's ready to go.
Yes.
He's ready to go. Who's here? Who's here? Hello, hello. Jason, how you doing? Edmonton, yeah, cold. Very, very, very cold.
Everyone's complaining about the cold here, but I don't think it's not that cold yet. I don't understand why everyone's like, "Oh, quick, wrap up." It's not cold.
It's not icy yet. It's not defrost your car cold where I am yet. It will be soon. Hello, hello, Les. I hope you are well. I hope your day has been good. Matt LaRive. Evening to yourself.
Sounds like Matt LaRive. Like sort of 80s film character.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's good.
Maybe
How you doing, Jimmy? How you doing, my friend? I hope you've been keeping up with the wrestling. Quite a good one this weekend, I thought. Survivor Series.
I've watched quite a few like highlight reels. It seemed pretty good. Sami Zayn is part of the bloodline. I'm finding a bit odd, but
no, it's the best thing that's going at the moment. Well, apart from
I really like Sami Zayn, but
apart from everything to do with Dexter Lumis, who is the best.
I thought he got written. Is he back in?
He's back in, mate. He's fighting the Miz, who's also amazing. How you doing, Pete? Evening, sir. Kieran. Standard. Well, I'll get down to Kieran saying hello to us. He leaves me on a. There he is. There he is. Hello,
every
mate.
week. I'm like, is he going to say it?
Hello, mate. Evening, Carlos. I'm rushing through it a little bit because we've got a very exciting guest tonight, and I don't want to keep him waiting. I want to get chatting. Hope you are good, dude. Hope you are good as well. Brad, always a pleasure. So, lost him for a second there. How you doing? How are you doing?
Brad went to the wonderful place of nerds just after we did, and I didn't see the coins that he picked up because I was like, oh, that would have been an interesting pickup. But
you would have got them. Ollie, from I Made This, if you haven't watched it, it's only go out today.
Toxic Crusade, yeah.
I've got to give several pointers to things that are up online because there's lots of people. You know what? Let's do it now. Ed's Retro Geek Out, Glow in the Dark toys. Super cool. Another toy history. Nails it. He always nails it. Absolutely smashes it. Toy Scavenger. Got a Kempton Park special up, which I believe we're in. I've not watched it yet because it only came out tonight. I'll be watching that tomorrow. So Toy Scavenger. Empire Toys 1138. Our very own Aaron. New LFCC video is up, which is great. On Instagram, Phenomenal Toys, good friend of Toy Division, a good friend of ours. It's the last day of Movember. So, and he's been doing it for a great cause, prostate cancer. So if you want to endorse and sponsor that, Phenomenal Toys, his link's in his Instagram. Make sure you crack out and follow him anyway. He's got some great stuff and he's a top guy. Ollie, I made this YouTube. I made this on YouTube. You got to watch this video. It makes me sick because it makes me realize how stupid I am and unable to make things. The man recreates it's wicked. Basically, Toxic Crusaders, the bike. I own one.
Is it Smog Cycle?
Yeah, it's there. Where are my hands? There, Smog Cycle. I gave him one that was missing a bunch of parts and kind of broken up, and he's made it even better. But made all the parts and then vacuum formed them, and it's wicked. Genuinely brilliant. I made this. Make sure you check it out on YouTube. But yeah, screw you, man, for being talented. Really. Yeah. Leo, how you doing? Tony, my friend, hope you are good. Hope to see you on Sunday.
Karate Commando pickup Tony had.
Yeah, Karate Commando is incredible. Hope to see you on Sunday. We are doing the Kempton Park Toy Fair on Sunday. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Paul, how you going, my buddy? Great to see you.
His video from Kempton last time. Yeah, I don't know. Too many shout outs, but yeah, Toy Scavengers put up a video from the last Kempton.
Yes, and there's the next Kempton on Sunday. So
exactly, get you hyped for this one.
If you like the look of what you see, come and see us on Sunday. Andrew, hope you're okay too. Oh man, yeah, no, we'll talk about wrestling, but we can't talk about wrestling right now. I've got to get Man City Hammer for it.
That would be a good twist, though.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. Trust me. Rolando, hello. Colin, how you doing? Good evening to you, sir. Apparently, Willow is all right.
I haven't seen it yet. Please, I'm going to try and watch it after this.
Apparently, someone likes Willow. Don't know why. It's weird. Brendan, hello. It does sound like a knockoff Van Damme. It sounds more like a Mario Van Peebles to me, which I'm down with. Viper, Hello, Collegzilla. Ben. Everyone has a talent, even Dan. My talent is pointing out other people's talents. We're not going to go into it, Al, but it was a disaster and it ended up really good. Basically, I completely messed up the reservation. I booked it and then had to rebook it for more people, and I messed the reservation up. So we ended up at a Toby Carvery, which was incredible, but not the delicious dripping we had planned. But we'll talk about that another time. Because tonight, Rye is we'll see if Rye makes it to the stream tonight. He's meant to be on, but work's kept him a bit late. We'll see. So you might have to put up with me and Andy battling our way through things computer game related, because we're not really the best. But we have an expert with us tonight. An expert. Evening, Adam. Oh, no spoilers. Apart from it's awesome. So
no, yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I just haven't had a chance.
It's good. I'm gonna give you.
Let's come and do a video game chat.
Let's come and do a video game chat. Even though he doesn't play video games. Let's have a little intro. Let's have a little intro for our good friend. There he is.
Good evening.
What do I know about Retro Ghetto? Well, I know he's built a flipping gaming room.
I have.
Building. It's a whole building.
Yeah, technically it is its own building. That is, yeah, accurate.
How are you doing, my buddy? Are you well today?
I'm really good. I'm really good, actually. I'm in my completed room. I've got a cup of tea. I'm on the show that I watch every week. I mean, what more could I ask for on a Wednesday evening?
I feel like, and as I'm sure many people do that have watched, particularly the construction phase of the 3.0. I feel like personally invested in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like when it goes
absolutely.
It's great.
More so than I expected. I mean, I have mentioned it a lot in recent weeks, but it's because I get messages so often from people that have watched it and saying, "When's the tour? When's it coming live? Yeah. Looking forward to seeing the room and that kind of stuff." And that's just, I never expected to have that much, interest. But I think it's because, like you say, because I documented the build throughout, you don't want to watch a series and then miss the final episode, do you? So it's kind of like...
Well, like I said, I didn't realise how invested I was until I was absolutely livid at the final. The camera goes. I'm like, are you kidding me? I've watched this for I'm like 7 hours into this thing, and I'm not going to see the final result. I knew it would come.
The thing is, mate, it takes a long time. I mean, it was like years in the planning and then months of building and ridiculously hard work. Like, I don't know if I sort of conveyed it on those vlog style videos that I did, but it was sort of doing a day's work and then 8, 9, 10 plus hours painting and sanding and getting it ready for the next phase, whether it be carpet or whatever it may be. Yeah. And also trying to beat the weather, because we did it in the summer and it was trying to get, everything done before the weather turned. And
you also had to endure one of Andy's personal nightmares, which was multiple trips to IKEA.
Oh,
and you've still got it to IKEA.
I think since the room was built, like finished, painted, I think I've done 6 trips to IKEA.
I can't stand that.
I think I've done 6. And it's not that close. It's like a 45-minute drive. So, I mean, just in fuel, it's a lot of trips.
You also kept your cool remarkably well when the farmer next door decided to give your lovely patio inside of wall a nice fresh coating of moss. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the benefits of being, I don't want to call myself a YouTuber, but creating content, because you can kind of think, it'll be good on the video. You can take a small piece of comfort in it.
Deeply annoying, but people will like it. Film it.
Yeah, people will laugh. People will laugh. It was literally like the day I'd finished cleaning everything up, painting everything, and then he cuts the hedge once a year, and it's not even necessary because I cut the hedge myself. Like, I'm not that guy that's just waiting for the farmer. Like, I cut my own hedge. But, oh no, he came along and had to cut it a few mil and literally sprayed everything with shit. Basically, sorry, can we say that? Excrement, basically. So.
We can get away with that. I don't have a dump button, so it's absolutely fine. It's lots of love. All the love for Retro Ghetto.
Do you feel, because people have messaged you like, can't wait to see the video, can't wait to see the video, do you feel a bit of pressure of like, I have to make it all look perfect?
Yes.
Like a little bit more so than if you were just doing it for yourself.
Can I step in there and say, if you've seen Callum's videos, particularly with the build, you know that I get the distinct impression, even if you weren't filming it, you'd need it to look perfect.
Yeah, true. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them things, isn't it? Like, it's a labour of love more than anything. I'd put the same effort into the room if I'd never picked up a camera, just for myself, as to what I've done anyway. I think it's been more a case of feeling the pressure of conveying it on camera, because I don't know if you guys have tried to film your own rooms. It's really difficult. It never comes across.
No.
I've had a couple of people come into this room that have watched the videos, and they've walked in and like, it's so much bigger than I thought, or it's really difficult to show on camera. And my camera's not the best. I use my phone. I've made do with using my phone.
Yeah.
It's just a case of, I felt the pressure to film it well more than anything.
I would say, obviously, without seeing the room in its current completion, these things are always evolving and changing and fluid. But I would say you've done a really good job with that, man. Like, I definitely, like I say, I got invested not just in the construction of it, but even down to like, you must get this a lot, but like, and this is a reflection on me, not you. I'd have just stuck them lights on afterwards, mate. Forget about taping them up and painting them. Yeah. But they look great. I'm
very much. I think when you do something from the ground up as well, it's not like moving into a new flat or a house and you kind of got this room and then you make do with what's there. Because I've pretty much built this myself, you have so many more decisions to make and so much more pressure, because it's everything, every inch of this room is me. I've done it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you have so many decisions to make that you never envisaged you did have to make. Where are you going to put plug sockets and light switches, and how many light switches do I want, and do I need an outside light switch? You know, all this weird stuff you never thought you'd have to think about. And then you have like split seconds to make the decision. What's the electrician's here? And it's like,
as you go, I really wish I didn't put, if the radiator was just 30 centimeters that way, that would be much better.
Mate, that is my life. That has been my life for some time. Luckily, there's been I didn't do anything wrong. Nothing wrong. There's a couple of things I'd change, but nothing that really matters.
Yeah.
I would like to have, I didn't put a switch for my outside light. So if people don't know, I've got like a private outdoor area that you can only get to from this room. So I've basically got my own outside area, should anybody want to smoke, or, you know, my gym area basically. And I didn't put a switch for the outside light because it's on like a sensor.
Right.
Yeah.
And my thinking was, I don't know what's going to go on the walls. I want to save the wall space, you know, for us collectors, every inch counts, right? I didn't want switches on the walls. But now it's like, especially in these dark winters, the second I step outside, it's like, and I mean, there is pretty much just a farm there, but anybody and his dog can see me. It's like going on stars in their eyes, and I'm stepping out through tonight, Matthew. I'm going to be in a dressing gown, drinking a cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? The whole world can see me because I've not got a switch.
Yeah.
So I've ended up like draping a towel over my outside light. So these are the small issues that I've had. But I'll take that. I'll take that.
It's normally, I wish I put a switch so I could turn it on so I'm not stumbling around. But for you, it's I don't want to be illuminated and blinded when I walk out the back. Like,
yeah, definitely. So that's about as bad as it gets. Yeah, I'll take that.
What's Adam saying? Super jealous. Retro has his own man cave. Yeah. Appreciate his videos. We all do.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Awaiting Retro Ghetto's Bane restoration video. See, that's the sort of thing you could give to Ollie, and it fixed like that, and it makes me. I drilled it.
I was thinking about that before I came on air. I wish I'd done it so I could have showed you. But my restoration will be some super glue in a position I'm happy with. That will be the full restoration job. I mean, I collect Sota Street Fighter figures, and there's more super glue and blue tack than plastic.
I was going to say, blue, when it comes to anything, so you need a big old blue tack. Just
some of the figures. I mean, I will grab one. This just highlights the company as a whole, right? One second.
Yeah, so if anyone, so Sota or state of the art figures, they make, in my opinion, the best of the bigger range of the Street Fighter figures. But they are.
So this guy's called Birdie,
jointed,
right?
Yeah, that's a cool figure.
So this is Birdie, big guy, muscular guy. Yeah, see
I
him?
mean, show me his ankles.
Look at his legs. I mean,
Wow.
what? What are they supposed to do? Look, let's. This is genuine, right? I'm going to really try and stand him up. That was actually surprisingly good. I'll take that.
It's the heat, man. When the heat
That's
gets
ridiculous.
I don't know if you're like the aliens, NECA aliens, the actual alien figures. The ball joints on the feet are just. I've had so many. You just hear ping, pang, pong. You look round and there's the foot's still on the whatever it is, but the heat they just. I
find all toys come with problems. Like, aside from the Soda Street Fighter figures, I collect Storm collectibles, which is like a real high end, expensive figure. Like now they're like £100 and something.
Yeah.
Per figure, you come with like 3 heads, 5 hands, different accessories and whatnot. But even then, like, once you move them and try and pose them, they can kind of like get stuck in positions they never come out of, like the hips, and sometimes like the ball hip. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but they just never come back from certain positions the way that they were originally, and it's just like, this was £120. It adds more problems, more money, more problems. We're
preaching to the choir when it comes to that with Andy, who's very much into his Mythic Legions, and they are absolutely brilliant, but notoriously it's not even that they're fragile or delicate, right, Andy? They're just
I think some of them can be fragile and delicate, but once I get them in a position and they're on a shelf, I'll leave it. I very rarely touch them because they're just going to blow. So like loads of people are like having to fix them. It's like, I don't want to spend money on a figure that I have to break and then fix it.
Yeah. One of the key things I've learned with doing this room, because I was just buying so much stuff before, because I always had this sort of mythical unicorn room in my mind, right? So for like 5 years, I've just been buying as if I was going to have this football pitch sized room one day. So I've very much sort of had to select what went in this room from my collection, because the collection became so vast.
Yeah.
But then you realise once you get to so many figures in a toy line, you can't pose them as you'd want to.
No.
So I've kind of learned you're better off to have 2 posed how you want than 57 where you don't even look at each one because there's so many. It's kind of finding that balance, I think, between there's so many full sets of toys that I've got that I just wanted the full set because it's like the completionist in me. But in reality, it doesn't look better displayed that way. So I'm just put one out on the shelf, or
that's
a really good point.
I was having this very conversation with Johnny the other day about I look back not even that long ago, and it's kind of funny to me as to what I bought, because Andy, man, I've got to get we're getting 10 of them. Because there's 10 of them, and now I'm like, I just want that one, and that represents all of them. But you're cursed, blessed, in the same way that I am. I think that you also like big items. So you like for example, your Zelda, your Link. These things are not small. The standees are not small. The 1/1 scale models are not small. So you have to find space for them. But you're right. You end up. I found
my life size Link hasn't made the cut
because it's massive. It's absolutely massive.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the height. With this short shield, it's like over 6 foot. But it's the foot. What would you call it? Like
footprint.
Oh, it's huge. But I've got my life-size Master Chief. There's a life-size Master Chief in here.
But
one life-size figure is enough, I think.
His footprint is his feet, right? But I know you were mucking around with trying to get the Link in, whatever.
Yeah, mate. I damaged these walls. I've had to fix these walls about 3 times trying to get him in. I had half a Link at one point, and then I honestly every possible scenario of raising him to the ceiling went through my mind at one point or another. And in the end, I just thought, you know what? It doesn't look good.
Dude, when you were doing that, I was watching you doing it, and I was hoping you were going to get to that conclusion, because as cool as that piece is, it would have looked like you'd have trying to crowbar it in.
Yeah, shoehorn it in. Exactly that. And
it doesn't fit your aesthetic. Your aesthetic is like tight lines, clean. It just doesn't.
Mate, I'm glad you see that, because that's been the MO for this whole room. Nothing, apart from my own comfort, nothing else has come ahead of the aesthetic. Nothing. Doesn't matter how much I love something, how much I want it. If it annoys me slightly, I can see out the corner of my eye, it's not 100% right, it's not in here. It's gone.
Yeah. Oh, well, from what I've seen, obviously, I will look forward to the full reveal, but I think you've achieved that masterfully. It's clean lines, Nice lights, great logos, positioning. Yeah, it's going to be good. Love for Retro Ghetto. Has Retro been tempted to get any of the arcade 1-up machines?
I'm looking at one right now.
There we go. So yes.
Yes, and I bought one, sold it, and then I've got another one. I touch upon this in the room tour actually, because I filmed it today. I filmed part of the room tour today. They do have their detractors, and I get why, but I think it depends which one you buy. I've got the Pac-Man one, and you can't go wrong with Pac-Man. It's just one of them games. You've got 10 minutes to spare. You know, you're waiting for the missus to get ready or whatever. I'm just trying to beat my top score in Pac-Man. It's just one of them so easy to just jump into and out of.
Callum, you may or may not be excited for me to learn that the one of the aims and goals, and I guess carrots for me and Hannah to actually tidy the house up is we are genuinely considering buying a House of the Dead 3 shotgun machine, and Hannah wants she wants a DDR machine for the garage, so because she can fix that stuff. I can't. I don't know how to.
I always knew from watching these streams that Dan was a man of taste, and then I met his partner, and it just sort of exemplified what I already thought. What a lovely woman.
She gave me something to show you because I'm like, I don't know where that is. She was like, Callum will love it. Apparently, it's well, do you know what this is?
Yeah, it's from Pikmin.
There we go. I've written it down. It's from Pikmin. I went, I don't know what it is, but
yeah. Nice. I'm not a plush guy. I'm not a plushy kind of guy, but I do like it.
Me neither, but I don't know. I've never known what this is. It just sits around. And she went, Callum will know what it is. There we go.
Pikmin. Yeah.
Callum absolutely did know what it is. What we got here? Speaking of IKEA, the Detolf glass cabinets are about £75 now. Yeah, man. I think the price of materials, glass, and whatnot's going up. I would say Callum's probably more interested in the price of Billy bookcases, judging on.
Don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I may or may not, on my many trips to IKEA, have helped myself to a couple of the little things that support shelves as I'm walking around. The things you end up valuing as a commodity when you're doing a room is phenomenal. Because the way IKEA get you is you buy one of these cases and it comes with 2 shelves. Now I need about 6.
Yeah.
And then they're like £10-12 each.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ludicrous, but yeah. And then you'll see on the room tour, I've got shelves for like minifigures. You know, like minifigures.
Yeah.
I've got shelves that much space, like an inch, wrapped around. So it's like 30 quid just to put. It's stupid. It is stupid.
Even that, you'd only want to put minifigures along the front because anything behind it is just.
Oh yeah, that's you read my mind, you do.
And I see a lot of people, Andy's a minifigure master. Don't forget, a master.
So pretty much most collectors have the cabinets, the Billy bookcases, right? I mean, just if you ain't broke, don't fix it. But what a lot of people do, I'll give you guys a top tip now. A lot of people buy it and they do the standard thing of pushing the games to the back.
Yeah.
I'm very much an upfront collector. I want it right at the front. Toys, games, I want it level. The issue with games is if you reach and grab one, you push about 7 back.
Yeah.
So what I've done is, you know, when you go to sort of Wix or somewhere and you can buy like trunking for cables.
Yep.
And it will come with like a sticky back, like a sheet you rip off and you can stick it down. So what you do is you just measure. Absolutely. So you just measure the width of the case, whether it be Xbox 360, PlayStation 1, whatever it is. Then line it across. Then you can put your games in and they're not going to be pushed back. So that's something that I sort of worked out as I was building the game room. Yeah.
So it beats my Mad Balls on shot glasses top tip. That's
hey, whatever works.
Whatever works for anyone, right?
Hey there, Rob.
Absolutely.
I hope you are well.
I used your shotgun idea for the Killer Bee when I had it.
Yeah, man.
It definitely helped display.
Glasses, they work. Oh, sorry, just while talking about Argos. Display cabinet's called Stella. A bit more expensive than a Detolf, but have double ones, which looks great. Order 2 for the room. Very nice. I'll have to have a look into that. When you go to the toy shows, do you still manage to find amazing deals with gaming stuff, or have you noticed it getting tougher to find?
Absolutely not. Do not go and try and find video games at toy fairs.
Because
don't go. Don't go. Never. There's none.
Ruined it for yourself.
I have ruined it for myself. Now, in all honesty, if I'm being genuine and I was talking to someone off camera or whatever, I would say do not go just with the intention for video game stuff. Yeah. If that's all you're going for, you might end up being disappointed. I love looking at toys. I enjoy speaking to you guys and other people there. I'm not. My days at being made or broken based solely on finding a few video games. However, you are 100 times more likely to find an absolute bargain at a toy fair than you would at a video game fair.
Because the guys selling video games at toy fairs, many of them sell computer games. That's what they sell. But you'll find people like me and Andy. You sell toys, and you've also got some video.
They just don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care. And equally, that game can then sit on that store for an hour, 2 hours. Whereas at a video game fair, what will happen is if someone's got something, and video games are somewhat slightly different to toys. Video games is very much like a commodity, like gold or fuel. It's got a price.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the price. You can look on CEX. There's a definitive price for these games. It's not like toys where it's sort of, a little bit more up in the air.
Yeah.
And there is with some games like Condition and things like that. But for the most part, people know the value. So if something's undervalued, it'll just be gone straight away at a video game market or fair because everyone knows the pricing in the market. So it's very unlikely something will last long in those kind of places.
Particularly if there is an active set buying play. Like what I mean is I could, if I could be bothered, get an app out and go, oh, I can sell these for this much money. Even someone like whereas with old toys, there is no place to go in and be like, oh, I've got this. How much you can give me?
That's it. CX has a massive impact on the video game and retro video game market in the UK. Huge. Not just because of the fact that you can buy and trade from them, but because there's a database with a price for everything. And, it's my best friend, that app. I go to a charity shop, I just scan the barcode. Bang. That's how much I can get for it. You can't not use it. It has its detractors, and I can see why it's had both a positive and a negative impact on the marketplace. But I'm not one of the people that focuses on the negative. I'd rather just focus on getting the most out of what's available.
I used to enjoy a Game Station because they always had a good vintage. Long time ago, but I used to.
I remember. Yeah, they were like one of the first to really do that, and I think that's going to be to the detriment of places like Game. I mean, let's be honest, Game's on its last legs. If you go in Game now, Jesus.
Yeah,
it's a sorry sight.
Toys and other stuff, Andy. Yeah, like other stuff like merchandise and stuff. Yeah.
It smells of being too little, too late when you go into like a game store now. I mean, Amazon bring it to your door for about £4 cheaper. It's hard to compete with that, but you've got to find a different niche. You've got to find something else. And for me, selling a couple of T-shirts and a bit of Lego is not the way to do it. But time will tell.
In like Sports Directs now as well.
Yeah, I think Mike Ashley owns it all. Yeah, so that might, to be fair, that might keep it afloat because there's going to be less onus on Game itself to make money, because what he's trying to do at the moment is he's trying to put them all under one roof, isn't he? So you'll see like he owns flannels as well, like the designer clothing store. Yeah. So you'll have like multiple shops within like almost like a department store now. That's all under the Mike Ashley umbrella.
The most budget House of Fraser you can ever imagine. Just
weird comparison.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then Sports Direct. Sports
Direct is
Bradley. Does Callum have a cami? He's probably got about 12.
I've got 4.
There you go.
Yeah. That's one of my things that I don't like about Sota, because they've not been very kind to Cammy's back.
Oh, really?
Cammy's renowned for her
back.
Posterior.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the Sota figures, it's like, it's what my friend, this is going to sound bad now. It's what one of my friends would call a Djokovic, because it's a no back.
A no back.
So it's a no back.
Amazing. Do you collect only gaming? I know the answer to this. Gaming-related toy figures and statues, or do you also go for cartoons, movies, etc.?
No. A lot of my toys are video game related, because I've said this before. I think I've said it on stream with you guys before. I don't consider myself to be a toy aficionado. I don't sort of know the history of toys like you guys do. I don't really collect, like I know a lot of you guys like sort of collect Playmates, or you collect, certain manufacturers of toys. I collect toys based on my love that I have for the character or the franchise, as opposed to the toy line itself, if that makes sense. So a lot of my toys are video games, movies, cartoons, that kind of thing. It's just
he likes a rapper.
I love a rapper, yeah. It basically is, way I collect is I just like to have a physical manifestation of things that I enjoy, whether it's music, movies, video games, I like to have a physical representation of it.
Yep.
Somewhere around me.
But Adam, he is not limited to just game-related stuff. The man has broad and varied interests, which is.
I do try sometimes. I have gone through the thought process of should I just focus on video game toys?
Nah.
Because you know what it's like when you collect so much stuff. You try and find ways to limit it, and it soon goes out the window. You end up just buy what you like, just buy what you enjoy.
I'll just keep that one. Turns into 100.
Yeah.
Are you going to go to Birmingham on the 27th? This time?
Yes, hopefully. Yeah.
Cool. Hello, Christian. How you doing, buddy? Oh, he's down there. Sorry. Good to see you, Retro Ghetto. Right, let's get through his comments. We'll get some toys. We've got some toys. How you doing, my man Steve? Lifesaver. He's got a little care package for me coming. It's very turtle related and it's excellent.
Nice.
Excellent.
Turtles is one of them things that I had to stop. I had to stop myself. I sold them.
Yeah.
So I had this like childhood memory of going somewhere like Great Yarmouth. And me and my brother had a Turtles figure. So we had Bebop and Rocksteady. So for me, it was like, right, I'm just going to get Bebop and Rocksteady. All the accessories, had Bebop and Rocksteady. About a month later, I had Shredder. And then it was like, right, I'm just going to get the bad guys. Right? And then it just started spiraling out of control. And I thought, you know what? I can't do this.
Dude,
so I sold them. I sold it all.
I don't collect turtles, but I've got about 30.
Yeah, that's like me with VHS. I don't collect VHS, but they just seem to keep arriving.
But now Andy will tell you I don't collect turtles, but I am looking at them, and some of them they're like 100.
Absolutely not telling you you don't collect turtles. You do collect turtles. You even sent a pen-written list of turtles you want.
Mate, come on, that's between us. Yeah, I did, yeah. But I don't collect. I know I'm not talking semantics. Genuinely, because I know that Andy Bugsy Ben is very.
Shout out to Ben, by the way, as well. What a guy!
What a great guy! Ben's the
Turtles human
king.
being.
It's a Turtles king. I don't really like I like they're brilliant, but all the different variations of the turtles. I like the things that are animals, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
A lot more interesting.
Yeah, they're just more interesting to me. They're more playmatesy. The Fun Confet, modding from Australia, lads. Cool, blimey. Been hanging for this dream since England qualified. Hey. Yep. Big up the England and the World Cup.
What's the Argentina score? I saw a ridiculous penalty awarded before I came on.
I don't know, dude. I've never been.
They were 1-0 when I came on.
Oh, okay.
I've never been this less excited for a World Cup. I'll get more into when it's knockout. Me and Hannah like a knockout competition.
My best friend, he lives in Qatar. He's lived out there for a few years, so I've got like a different sort of interest in the tournament.
Right. Oh, here we go. Spoilers: 2-0 Argentina. It's finished. There we go.
So I've got Argentinian and Polish friends. They were all bickering about it. Be glad it's over.
Should we show a few toys? Then we're going to talk some business with the Retro Ghetto about various interesting games and whatnot. So any questions, get them in the chat. Although I do have my own, obviously, being how I am. I'm going to start because we spoke separately about some sort of video game toys. So these aren't recent pickups. These are just some toys that I happen to have, and I didn't show them before. I used to have all the Palisades Resident Evil toys. I'd say before I start, I was saying to Hannah, like, I don't really have many video game toys really. And then I remembered that Earthworm Jim was indeed a video game before it was a toy. And
a great game as well. Really good game.
It's rock hard, I'll tell you that. Well, for me,
I think it was the latest or the one before the episode on Leicester Vintage Toy Shop on tour. They showed some Earthworm Jim, and it just led to me going down the eBay rabbit hole. And I need to stop watching YouTube, man. It costs me money.
Dude, much like things like Toxic Crusaders, Earthworm Jim are irritatingly going up in price. Again, that cool Playmates look, that cool 90s look. But yeah, so I remembered that I used to have all the Palisades. I went and bought them from the shop, all the Palisades Resident Evil, but I've got rid of most of them. But I have kept things like these two. I've got one. I won't bother.
Have you got the liquor? Want there a liquor as well?
I've got a liquor, so I kept one.
Yeah.
The zombie cop and
I
sold most of them, but I thought I really like the cartoony video games.
Yeah, cool.
Ones. So I kept them, which is pretty cool. I've got all of the BioShock NECA stuff, but I thought you might get a kick out of this one. It's like more like a prop, but it's an Eve.
Nice.
An Eve syringe. Which is quite fun.
Are you a big Bioshock fan then, Dan?
Massive, but Hannah's the gamer and she loves. It's the sort of thing I enjoy watching her play. I'm not really.
Yeah. So it's like with a game like that, you can sort of get into the world, can't you? The rapture, the world building of it.
I think the story is just utterly incredible, and I know they're making one on Netflix. So I'm not that jazzed about it, but utterly incredible. But I am that dude, and you would lose your mind. I'm that guy that's just like, let's go. I get killed, and I go, over it. Yeah. I'm not really.
I had the opportunity to buy a life-size figure. And it was just, mate, you need a room for it. So I had to pass.
The best I can do, so we were talking about our favourite video game figures. This is my favourite video game figure that I own. Company called 3-0, make 1/6 figures. And this is a 1/6.
Nice. That's why I had the opportunity to buy a life-size one of. That's more, that's more palatable.
Can you imagine? Yeah, life-size would be massive. It would be 7.
That's the Big Daddy, right?
This is the Big Daddy with the little sister perched on top. She's obviously removed.
That's brilliant. I love that. That.
Yeah, it's pretty my favourite video game based toy. But
did you buy that new?
Did I buy it new?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it from Sideshow because they deal in 3A stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to buy the Subject Delta, but I didn't, and I regret it. That and Chappie, I regret not buying. Anyway, and lastly, before I move myself because I'm not very gamey, a couple of things me and Andy have found at boot fairs, which I think you might enjoy. Found a Mario Brothers Game and Watch.
Yeah, nice.
That's nice little boot fair find.
Yeah. Have you tried to play it?
Yeah, it still plays. I want the orange, the Donkey Kong one. That's the one that I had played as a kid, but I'm not prepared to pay 70 quid for it because I'm tight. And how's that for a weird little watch? It's like a Nintendo.
I love that. Just that strap that says Nintendo on it is enough for me.
It's cool, isn't it?
That'd be enough for me, yeah.
So I found that, and while I'm here, this has got nothing to do with gaming. This is a shameless plug of stuff I'm selling at Kempton because I've just decided to sell it. If anyone's interested in a Sideshow 1/6 G.I. Joe Cobra Desert Sniper, hit me up. It's just a little plug because I'm selling on Sunday. Just getting them in there.
Get in.
So that's my game. That's some game related stuff. As you can tell, I'm not really much of a gamer.
I mean, that's more than me. I've got nothing. So,
and you got nothing.
What game? Unless I've got something I don't realise is a game, but I don't think so.
You enjoyed Aladdin on the Mega Drive? That was pretty cool.
Loved it. I bought a Mega Drive during lockdown off of Brad, if he's still in the chat. And Aladdin, I played all the way. No, I didn't play all the way through. I got frustrated and turned it off.
That was the first game I did on the recent. How many games can I play in one day? Video.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I played it on the Super Nintendo version. To be fair. Yeah.
That was so, right.
5:30 in the morning. That's where I decided to start.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's a great game. That's one me and my sister played it a lot.
How you doing, Aaron?
Shout out to Aaron.
Big up. Seeing if people are enjoying the big day.
Yeah, I've got a couple of wrestling games which I sometimes put on, but again, turn them off because I just get frustrated with them.
What wrestling game have you got? Have you got Wrestle War?
That's the best. That's the best one. It's hard to follow.
Do you want to hear a story? Do you want to hear a story about that game?
I do want to hear a story.
I've got a story.
Please.
So, as a young man, I had a Mega Drive, me and my brother. And this is like back in the day when you only had a new game at Christmas and birthday, right? That was it.
Yeah.
And when you got it, you played it. You had no choice. That was all you had until your birthday or the next Christmas came around. So like a lot of kids, we were hyped for Echo the Dolphin, which I think Andy mentioned last week. Of all the games,
he did.
Terrible game. Terrible. He said he wanted me to do a live stream. What are you wishing on me, Andy? It's a terrible game, right? Of all the games in the universe, he shouts out Echo the Dolphin. Anyway.
Well, he did Echo 2. I bought a job lot of Mega Drive games and I was really surprised to see
Echo 1 was one too many. We don't need any more Echo, right? It's a horrible game.
I remember being rock hard as well. Like
it looks good. It looks good. So when you was a kid and you saw these like stills in your Games Master magazine or whatever it was, everyone was hyped for Echo the Dolphin. It was horrendous game. So anyway, one Christmas or birthday, we got Echo the Dolphin. It took us about an hour to realize it was terrible. We didn't know what we were doing. We couldn't get past the first little pool, so it was just this dolphin going. It's basically like the life of a dolphin at SeaWorld. Was just in this little bit going backwards and forwards. That was it, right? So anyway, we did what everyone did back then. We put it in the local paper. So he took out like an advert, a local newspaper, right, to sell it or exchange it. So took out an advert basically saying, you know, does anyone want to buy it or swap? So anyway, there's a knock at the door, which even that seems alien now, because obviously you expect everybody that comes to your door, you've got a Ring doorbell, 47 cameras before anyone comes near your house. There's this knock at the door. Mum goes to the door. She shouts at me and says, "Oh, Carl, there's someone at the door for you." I'm like, huh? So anyway, I go to the door as, I don't know, 10 years old. I'm not kidding you. John Coffey from the Green Mile was at my door, right? So I'm looking at this guy, right? I'm looking at this guy, and he went, "I've come to swap this for Echo." Right? Echo was like a brand new £60 game.
Yeah.
He gave me Wrestle War.
Right.
Now, with retrospect, Wrestle War's a superior game.
It's an amazing game. Yeah.
But at the time, this was like £10 bargain bucket game.
Yeah.
Right? Unlicensed wrestling game, been out a while.
Yeah.
No hype. But it's brand new. Did I have the testicular fortitude to tell John Coffey no? No. I snatched that game, thanked him, sent him on his way.
You did. You didn't just swap. You thanked him for the swap.
Oh, I thanked him. Thank you for robbing me, John Coffey. Like the drink, set not spelt the same. Appreciate it. And ended up with Wrestle War. So that's my Wrestle War story. And it's good because now I've kind of had this like memory attached to that game.
Have you still got that version, that copy?
I don't have anything from my childhood.
No.
Nothing.
Okay.
I don't have a single thing. Some personality disorders and scars, but aside from that, I have nothing from my childhood. Nothing at all. Due
to those personality disorders, you now have to have it all back. That's the way life
absolutely.
works.
Absolutely. So, I've always been very much like, even the way I collect now is very much like a hustle. Everything I do is sort of centered around getting bargains.
Yeah.
Everything that you see in this room, I paid less than market value for. 95%, probably more. I paid less than market value for, and then it's subsequently gone up in value. It's just the way I enjoy collecting. Whilst I don't do it for the financial gain or reward, it's just something I enjoy doing. I enjoy the wheeling and the dealing of trying to get things cheaper than what they're worth.
Absolutely.
It's a big part of the collecting for me. Big part of it. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I don't know. I probably would own less stuff than what I own now.
I disagree. I think you'd have more stuff and just a bigger, the 4.0.
We're on the 6.5 by Christmas.
Yeah, the 12.9. So I've got two questions, one for myself and one from Aaron. I want to ask you, and then we're going to get into some toys and some bits and pieces that you've got. Yeah. My question is, just because you were talking about Echo the Dolphin, and I have a game in my mind. I want to see if you agree. From when I say old consoles, I mean the Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, cartridge era. Is there a game or any games that stick out to you now that are so hard it makes no sense that we used to play them back then? Even today, you go, wow, that is a hard game.
Yeah, there's a few. And again, it's another game that I completed recently on my video games completed list. Streets of Rage 2. I remember as a kid just like breezing through it. Now it's like I have to like put my big boy pants on.
Think about it.
Concentrate from level 1. I can't go into it like half-arsed, casual, take a hit here or there early on. Like I've got to get like 4 levels in without dying.
Let's save them lives.
For that boss fight. Like, there's loads of games like that for some reason, I don't know if it's just because as a child you had nothing else to do. Donkey Kong as well. I remember flying through Donkey Kong as a kid. Donkey Kong Country. Now
Donkey Kong Country, it gets harder, but I know
it's that minecart level, man.
Yeah, but that is okay, and then jump, and then wait, and then beat.
Yeah. You just have to learn the level.
But that I kind of understand. Like I remember playing Donkey Kong Country on my friend's on his Super Nintendo for hours and kind of figuring it out. But a game that I can't get my head around, as in I don't remember playing it and getting anywhere with it. But we used to play it all the time. But I can't get past the first level now. I haven't given it that much try. Alien 3. It's unbelievably hard.
I've got it. I'm looking at it, but I don't think I've played it.
Dude, give it a go. If you get bored, give Alien 3 a go. It is rock solid. It's rock solid as a game.
It's made by LJN, which is the seal of approval for terrible games. If anyone watches Angry Video Game Nerd,
okay.
Yeah, LJN. They make like decent toys but terrible games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give it a go.
Please, I'd love to. You'll pretty breeze it, but what I mean is you have to do certain things and rescue things and kill things.
Yeah.
There's also a time limit on each level. It's
what I've learned later on in life is a lot of games from that era, so the 16-bit era, which is predominantly Mega Drive and Super Nintendo.
Yep.
The reason why some of those games are ridiculously hard, so you look at the games like Lion King, for example, that are just nigh on impossible.
Yeah.
When they're fundamentally aimed at children. The reason why is because at that era, it was the blockbuster era.
Right.
And they didn't want you to rent a video game and complete it in the weekend. They wanted you to subsequently go and buy the game and get more out of it. So I think that's a lot of the impetus behind why some of those games were so difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the flip side of that is certain games like Aladdin and Toy Story, you can breeze through in a couple of hours or an hour. And if you rented that game, you were never going to buy it.
That's a game that always pops up when we talk about hard games. Anything Ghouls and Ghosts is you get touched once, you lose your armor. You get touched twice.
I've got a friend who's a fellow YouTuber. His name's Ben. He's got a channel called One Credit Classics. Right. I don't consider myself to be good at video games. I'm better than your average person simply because I play them and I put time into them, but I'm not naturally gifted at them. This guy's like a different animal. He goes through Super Ghouls and Ghosts. He can do it without getting touched. He's got that online leaderboards that he's number one at. He does crazy challenges where he just won't get touched. But that's a game where you have to know every single millimeter of the game. You have to know what's coming. It's pattern learning more so than platform.
Yeah, it's almost like you've done it as a speed run, so you can do it at a normal pace because you know what comes when it comes. Rotations.
The difficulty with that game is people approaching it wrong. You look at it and you think of it like a Mario game where you just run.
You got to take time.
You have to learn. It's all about learning what's coming and where it's coming and how it's going to come. You have to put a lot of time into that game to master it.
If I learn anything from the documentary King of Kongs, it's that you have to put time into it.
Or cheat.
Or was it
just doctor a video.
Yeah. And be your own judge. That's absolutely fine.
What a great villain he is, though, as well, that guy.
Yeah, amazing. Billy Mitchell, that's what he's called. Aaron, Empire Toys 1138. Mr. Ghetto, what is your go-to game after a hard day?
Oof.
Or is
if I could answer that question honestly, it's just whatever game I'm playing now. I don't have enough free time to sort of deviate from the game that I'm playing. I tend to have a modern game and a retro game. So currently I'm playing God of War Ragnarok. So that's like my main game. That's like a modern AAA game. I'm 40 hours in. I've probably got another 40 to go. And then I usually have like a jovial retro game alongside that. So I'll have something like a platformer or something that's a bit light-hearted. And then I can sort of deviate between the two. But I do have, if we're talking about like a comfort game, to sort of answer the question, if we're talking about like a comfort game, like a go-to desert island game, a game that just takes you back, makes you feel good. This is a bit of a cheat because it's technically like 3 games, but it's the Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo. This is like, if I could only ever play one cartridge again, it's this. This is just nostalgia because Christmas, man.
Look at that.
Back in the day.
Look at that.
This pretty much started it all for me.
The All-Star SNES. Wow.
That's what started it. I got that Christmas morning all those years ago. Probably ripped the box apart.
In the bin.
And the thing is, so that was like my introduction to gaming when I was old enough to take stock of it. I had played Commodore 64 and the original Nintendo. But I was too young to really grasp it or have real solid memories of enjoying and playing through the games. Whereas getting into the Super Nintendo, and not only that, but I think most people would agree, it's stood the test of time so well. That it really has. I think it's opened the door for a lot of people that are my age to love it for life.
Yeah.
Because if you look at systems like Sega Saturn, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, if that's your era, there's a love there, but they haven't aged that well. Sort of early transition to 3D, it's very awkward. It doesn't resonate well now.
I find that all of those. Oh, no one asked my opinion, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Metal Slug. That's my go-to game after a hard day. Yeah.
What a fun game! It's one of infinite lives, run through, smash everything. It's brilliant, and the art style. The art style is. I don't know if there's any toys, but there should be toys.
I believe there is.
Vinyl figures. They don't need to have like articulation, just statues or something.
I'm sure I've seen them. because they're like brothers, aren't they? You can buy like the two of them back to back. I'm sure I've seen them.
Is there a tank? The tank rings a bell.
Yeah, you can jump in a tank. You get in a tank. And
that sounds like a game I'd play.
No, I mean like a toy tank.
That'd be cool, dude. You'd love it, Andy. We'll play it one day. Well,
the whole idea of playing a game and then dying and like I get frustrated and stop.
You don't die.
The idea of playing a game for 80 hours just doesn't enthrall me with anything.
Oh yeah.
The way I genuinely think of gaming is, if people don't like gaming, I just think this might sound like quite a naive statement, but I just think you've not found the right game. I consider gaming to be like music or movies. People don't categorically say I don't like music or I don't like movies. They have their own music and movies that they really enjoy. And I think often with gaming, people just haven't found that game that they really resonate with or enjoy.
Even
the music industry, and the movie industry is worth less than the video game industry combined.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that the market is so big.
Can I ask, what do you reckon is the longest you've been playing a game for? You just said that you've done 40 hours on that Ragnarok, and you said another 40.
Dude, that's not that long.
It's not that long.
I'm not a big. Hannah did like 2 real life years on World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say World of Warcraft. I'm not an MMO guy. That's a massive sort of online game. I've never really been an online gamer. I get very frustrated. I find it too competitive to enjoy it. I used to play a lot of FIFA, Street Fighter, and things like that, and I don't know if I'm enjoying it.
Did you break
3 hours later, I'm sweating, I'm stressed out, and I don't know if I've had fun or not. Like, I don't really enjoy it.
How many controllers did you smash playing online games?
I broke one PS4 controller, and I kind of did it in a weird way because I'm not that guy that's going to throw a controller at the floor or smash it against a wall because they're expensive, right? So this is what I used to do. I used to sort of whack it against my own leg.
Yep.
Or on this occasion, I whacked it into my own hand. So my other hand, open hand, I sort of smacked it. And I smacked it that hard into my own hand that I broke the controller on my hand.
Yeah.
And that's what FIFA does to you. And I just thought, why am I doing this? Why am I playing this?
Call of Duty, I was Modern Warfare 2, I think. I was getting murdered by like 12-year-olds, and I was so angry.
Yeah, that's why I can't do it, mate. I'm very much Peter Griffin. Have you seen that bit on Family Guy?
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
I twisted a PS3 controller in half. That's not strong plastic. I was like, yes, and then immediately, that was a waste of 40 quid.
Yeah. And then you can't play for 2 days while you're getting another controller or whatever it may be. But to answer your question, Andy, modern games, it's easier to know because it sort of tells you how many hours, whereas yesteryear you'd just be guesswork. I put 200 hours into a game called Breath of the Wild, which is a Zelda game that was on the Nintendo Switch. I put 200 hours into that and then subsequently lost it because the Switch broke and I sent it to Nintendo to get fixed. They sent it me back and all my data had gone. So I lost. And that was before the DLC came out, which is like downloadable content. So like additional stuff.
Yeah.
So I never got to do the additional stuff because it's hard to go back into a game you've put 200 hours in.
Yeah, that must be hard.
One day I'll go back. I mean, I completed the game, but there's always more to be doing.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, if I had to guess before that, it'd be one of the Pro Evolution soccer football games. Me and my friends used to play Pro Evo all day, every day. Everyone has that sort of, like in between stage where you finish school or you sort of should be studying for your exams and you're killing a lot of brain cells, smoky little rooms with your friends. We used to play Pro Evo just hours and hours and hours and hours.
Tony Hawk's.
Yeah. I saw this thing the other day that was like a meme and it said, Tony Hawk, this game sort of made me who I would then be for the rest of my life. Like, the music choices, fashion choices, like it stemmed from Tony Hawk for a lot of people. It is.
I was already a little skater kid. Sorry, Andy, go on, mate.
No, Tony Hawk's was great, but I've never been. I used to play that a lot. And Bubble. Yeah, we used to play that.
Fun game. Really fun game. Really good game. Yeah. Better than Echo the Dolphin.
Have you heard about this? Is just a yes or no, just because it was on. On the Switch, have you played a game called Gris? Have you heard of Gris?
No.
I absolutely love it. It's a weird platform game. Anyway, I'm sure you probably get recommendations all the time. I love it. The artwork is beautiful and it's incredibly relaxing.
I love the Switch. I love it. And I love what Nintendo's done. It's made it so easy for third-party developers and indie games. And they promote it to the forefront so much that there's so many games on that system. It's mind-blowing.
That's a good one, Brad. Worms, big time Worms.
Oh,
yeah. So just on the back of what you were saying a minute ago, just made me think, kind of like, and on Leo's comment, it's interesting you say about the sort of Super Nintendo and Mega Drive and the cartridge era, because a lot of the maybe not PlayStations, but a lot of the other, like you say, the Saturns, the Jaguars, the GameCube, the N64, they're kind of like notorious for one or two prime games, whereas the old cartridge, especially the Super Nintendo, it is just banger after banger game. So
I'll get hated for it because you always get that person that fell in love with gaming for that era. But like, I'm not a Nintendo 64 fan. I think there's 3 or 4 games worth owning, and that's it. And like, once you've got Zelda, GoldenEye, and the Marios, there's not really much, in my opinion. The rest's fodder, which will cause a lot of debate, I'm sure. But I don't.
Well, there's a reason.
N64.
N64. There's a reason that the Zelda games.
We only had We played GoldenEye and Mario Kart. That was it.
There you go. And you had Zelda to that, and they're the only ones that have held any, not just residual cost value, but also no one cares about the other games.
But that's the thing. It's like with toys. The way I always try and explain it to people is, if Simpsons released a toy line, it's Lisa that's now expensive, right?
Yeah.
It's the one no one wants. Yeah. And that's the same with video games. It's the ones nobody bought, the one no one cares for. They're the ones that are expensive.
Yeah, apart from Zelda, which everyone loved and people still love.
Yeah, there's that kind of good game. That first-party Nintendo games always hold value, but they'll only be expensive to a point because there's so many made and sold. There are millions of copies out there, but they're actually worth paying for because they're good games.
I apologise to the chat. I'm missing, but I'm enjoying our chat with Callum. So but everyone's making recommendations of games they used to play, and it's all good stuff.
Yeah, that was a great era for wrestling games. That was a great era, to be fair.
Yeah. WrestleMania 2000 on the N64. Got Ben saying Time Splitters 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Look at that. Doom on the upstairs. I used to play Doom on the actual computer.
Yeah. That was the better way to play it. Andy, sorry, I'm lying to you. Games I put time into, Football Manager, forget about it.
Football Manager.
Football Manager.
Again, to me, I just find that just not interesting at all.
I mean, for me, it was better than going to school, and that was sort of like my choice in the morning.
I would have rather played a video game than go to school.
Andy, I'm not gonna rip you. I'm not ripping. I'm just throwing this out there. How long did it take you to sort all your muscle men out?
Oh, hours.
There you go. Similar vibe.
Yeah.
So Callum, I'm gonna make you big screen because we were talking about.
See that beautiful face. No.
See that. I'm trying to look behind him, trying to see what he's got. We were talking about toys that come from video games, and I know you're a massive Street Fighter fan, but have you got anything else? And them as well. But anything you want to show us that we could talk about? Any toys?
I've got a couple of Street Fighter figures next to me, which I can show you later. I do have a couple of other toys that are video game related that I want to show. I've got a couple that I'll show that are more like older toys that I think you guys might be interested in. And then I've got like a more modern toy, which I'd say is probably my favorite video game toy. But this first one I want to show, it's a Joyride, Joyride Studios.
Yep. Halo.
There's no date on this, but I'm going to guess 1996, around there. And this is Link from N64 era, Ocarina of Time. It's very rare you find it in this condition because this is like a sticker.
Right.
And it's really weird the way it articulates because he has to sort of... I thought it was stand on the base.
I thought it was a statue when you brought it up, and I see.
There are points of articulation. Like, let me try and show you. So this arm moves, yeah. The shield kind of moves, and he's got like leg joints, but because of where he's positioned on the stand, there's not really that. There's not much you can do with him, and he can't quite go into the position you want him to be in because you want the shield and the sword on display, and you can't do both.
Yeah.
It's really odd, but I just love it because I think it's probably the first Link figure there is. I mean, I might be wrong. There might be something from before this, but it's just very hard to find it complete because it's have the sticker. He's got like the sheath on the back. This one's in really nice condition, and obviously it's such a beloved game. It's often voted as the greatest game of all time, Ocarina of Time. So it's just something that I was happy to find.
That's very cool, and you can imagine a lot of them have got nose rub and all sorts from just
yeah,
that's really nice.
Yeah, there's just not that many of them kicking about anymore.
Yeah.
And again, it's no date. It just got a little Joyride Studios on the bottom. You can see
I only know those because of the Halo toys. In fact, Aaron and Ryan were looking at Joyride Halo toys on Saturday, in fact, at Nerdbase, which is why it's fresh in my mind. But yeah,
to my knowledge, I think they only made video game toys.
I literally would have said I only know them for Halo. Now I know they did a Zelda toy, so 100% so far.
This next one, so I remember Andy showed, was it mustard jars? Is it mustard jars?
Yeah.
Remember when Andy was hyped on mustard jars for 2 weeks? That's all we heard about. Mustard jars, and then we never heard of mustard jars again. Right? Remember that episode?
I can go get it.
There was a 2-episode series of the mustard jar wars.
2 weeks. You don't spend enough time with Andy, mate. 2 months we're still hearing about the old mustard jar.
So I've got this, which isn't actually a toy. You might know what it is because it's not uncommon. You do see them. It's this guy.
Is it Bubble Bath?
Bubble Bath.
It is. Bubble Bath.
That's weird.
Now, the thing is, it's like everyone reaches that point where they're collecting, right? Where buying new Mario toys is not cool. No one wants a new Mario toy. I love old, derpy, funky-looking Mario like that. That's the Mario I love. This is like 1992. So I mean, I was 5 when this was produced.
Proper Mario.
I mean, you can get older. There are older ones, and there's even more funky-looking Mario out there. Like the further you go back. But yeah, I just love this. I've never ever unscrewed it. I do not know what wonders lurk in there. I don't dare find out.
Is it got fluid in it?
Yeah, has it got stuff?
No, there's no fluid in it. But I imagine there's an odor. I just don't want to know. Yeah. I don't want to find out. But yeah, I just love it.
Forget mustard glasses. Retro Ghetto is going to mustard gas himself out of the 3.0 if he opens that.
And if memory serves me rightly, this was an NEC Toy Fair find.
Amazing.
I didn't pay a lot for it. We're talking like 5 to 10 quid. Nothing, not much at all. But yeah, I mean, they don't make things like this anymore, do they? You don't get. I mean, I know we've got this weird like plastics and all that. Save the turtle, but I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it?
If you get promotional products like that, it would normally be the normal product with a sticker for the promotion that you don't see. I mean, I'm sure they do for kids, but you don't see you don't see the kind of the molded.
Absolutely. And this used to be commonplace, things like this.
I sold a Mr. T one myself another week. Really cool. Yeah.
Mr. T bubble bath.
Wow. Unopened, still
Who
there.
Doesn't want to have a bubble bath with B.A. Baracus. I mean,
so we sold it.
That's how you sell it. So yeah, that's a couple of the older bits that I grabbed off the shelves that I want to show you guys. And then, so this is like much more modern, completely different end of the spectrum. This is minus my Street Fighter figures because it'd be hard to choose between them. This is probably my favorite toy, if you like. This is my 18-inch NECA Kratos.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, the detail on it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's NECA for you.
NECA, I'm not a huge fan of NECA. I think sometimes they're almost a bit too realistic. Like, I don't want loads of them, but their 18-inch stuff is phenomenal. Like, it's hard to sort of convey it on camera, but I mean, every inch of this is just.
I mean, that looks pretty cool, and I'm not.
It's like exact, and you know, you can take the shield off, and it's got like a little piece to replace on his arm where the shield would sit. And I mean, it doesn't stand up. I mean, you can't stand it up. I mean, it's dreadful. But it is such, and it's my number one franchise. I actually, this figure I took with me for my tattoo. I've got this tattooed on my forearm, and I took this with me to the tattooist because a good tattoo artist, as you know, Dan, wants to see the shadow. They want to see if they can get like.
You've seen my tattoos. I don't know any good tattooers. I do, Davey. If you're watching, I love you. He's my best friend.
But like the shield in particular, she really used this for reference.
Yeah.
For the tattoo. Yeah, it's just a really, really great piece. And I don't think it was ever released in this country. I had to get this from Germany. For some reason, they just didn't release it in the UK. I don't know why. They released a smaller, like 6-inch one.
And there's like a statue. Me and Andy, we see 18-inch the NECAs and the McFarlanes, particularly the horror stuff, all over the place. I've never ever seen one of those in the wild ever.
No, you won't. This is the only one I've ever seen. But even like the back, like that knife, you can sort of unsheath, and then there's like, there's been no sort of expense spared with any of it. It's really
nice.
It's so weird. Like, I don't understand the scale's different, but I don't have that many NECA figures, but 3 that I got were the Defenders of the Earth ones, and they were just awful. Like, the paint apps were crap, the joints were crap.
Some of them are.
Everything.
The other 18-inch NECAs I've got the 2 Tony Montana 18-inch NECA figures. The one's good, but one's dreadful. He's got this weird face, like the white suit one. He's got the weirdest facial expression. It's bizarre, but the other one's actually quite good. So I've binned off a while.
Andy, your Defenders of the Earth, they were the new release ones, weren't they?
Yeah.
I feel NECA are weird. They put out so much stuff now, so many horror toys in particular, that like quality control is not necessarily all the way up there.
I've got some more.
Yeah, we're coming back, but I've got a question for you from the chat.
Right.
Question for Retro Ghetto. Before FIFA dominated the football games era, when Pro Evolution Soccer went down, what was one of your favourite football games that wasn't FIFA or Pro Evolution Soccer? Adidas Power Soccer was fun to play.
I mean, the way I started reading that question, I was going to like Pro Evo. I wasn't.
He's cut you off for Pro Evo. No
Pro Evo fan. It used to be like, people used to have like the Sega or Nintendo war. At my school, it was like FIFA or Pro Evo. And Pro Evo was the cool kid. And we didn't care they didn't have the real names because we had better gameplay. And I used to spend hours making my own kit and putting all the names right and all that kind of stuff. But it's interesting you should say that, because I actually showed a game on a recent video that no one's ever heard of. Just a random game I used to play with my brothers called Puma Street Soccer.
Puma Street Soccer?
And it's just like a 5-a-side soccer game. And like NBA Jam where you get Ease on Fire? Yeah. It was similar to that. You'd get like a super shot. So if you had like so many shots on target, you'd have like a super shot.
I feel like a friend of mine had that.
Fun game. Not many people had it.
Do you play in like cages, or like it looks like they're in like
it was sort of like wooden floor. I think it was outside, but in like a dome.
Like outdoor
and there was Pringles adverts everywhere. So on all the sort of pictures and everything was Pringles. The little Pringles guy was just everywhere for some reason.
Okay. That's really just brought back a weird memory of my friend's house. I think he did have that.
I always thought the classist wars between FIFA and Pro Evo, because everyone said Pro Evo is like the thinking man's FIFA. It reminded me of the sort of run and gun, plug and play Call of Duty versus the thinking man's Battlefield.
Yeah.
Like, settle down, Einstein. You know what I mean? Sometimes
shout out to this game as well, because I think this was the first game that had sponsors on the kits. And this was still that era when like graphics was like, oh my God, the graphics, like when you really cared. Now we're all like playing 16-bit games on PlayStation 5s, right? We've all gone back. Yeah. But this was the era where it was like, wow, the shadow on the pitch. But they had the sponsors on the shirt, and it was like mind blowing.
Do you remember when there were literally a public health outrage because the finishing move scenes for Mortal Kombat were too damn realistic for people?
They're not on the Super Nintendo. There's no blood. Like you just had to input a cheat. They made the blood green on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. I used to play a football game on my Atari ST. Can't remember what it was called. It was pre-Sensible Soccer. It was some football game. But I remember
Sensible Soccer though. Shout out Sensible Soccer.
Big Sensible Soccer. But I still I still remember it. And I still reference it. I probably reference it to Andy more annoyingly to him. But it had like set commentator phrases in there.
Yeah.
You could take a shot and it could go off by the corner flag, and it was not Jonathan Motz, but it was like, oh my, if I'm not very much mistaken, I think that might have scraped the bar. And you're like, doesn't matter where you kicked it, he'd say that. And
it's so funny how those like things become part of your vocabulary. There's one very similar. Me and my brother. There used to be a game called Actua Soccer. And it was one of the first games that had commentary, like real commentators. And I'll never forget, me and my brother were playing it, and I scored a penalty, and the commentator went, chipped it round the defence, and it's there.
Amazing. That's what I mean. It's just a misloop.
So that's just like in the vocabulary now. Chipped it round the defence, and it's there. Yeah. It's funny how things happen like that.
So I say it to my brother every now and then. If I'm not mistaken, I think that may have raised the bar. Side's got a question. Could we ask Retro his thoughts on the new Super Mario movie that drops next year in April? We could, but I think he might have frozen. Is he frozen out? Is he there? Is he there? The Retro Ghetto. What do you know about Retro Ghetto's internet connection? We might have just lost Callum.
I don't get. Well, is that the one with Ryan Reynolds? Is like voicing Mario.
It's a weird one, man. Is it Ryan Reynolds? Chris Pratt in it?
That's it. Sorry, yeah, Chris Pratt.
And we'll come back to this. We will come back, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll just lost Callum for a minute, but I'm sure he'll be back in a second. Yeah, it is Chris Pratt, but it's an ongoing conversation between like, do these things really need sort of like celebrities to voice them if they're just going to sound like the celebrity? Do you know what I mean?
That absolutely does. Yeah, it doesn't.
I think not. What you want is someone that can either do an amazing Mario voice, or there's tons of great voice artists or whatever, but it doesn't. Chris Pratt always sounds like Chris Pratt. We don't need.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. What's his name? Ryan Reynolds, because he is just Ryan Reynolds. Like
similar
no matter
vibe.
what he does, he is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I'm not desperately looking forward to it. I've got to be honest. Hello, buddy. He's back.
Sorry, mate. I don't know what happened there.
What happened was you got asked a question and you were so angry, you were so enraged by the idea of the new Super Mario film.
What was the question? I missed it.
The question was, what are your thoughts on the new Super Mario movie that drops next year in April?
I'm very nonchalant about it, really. I think Nintendo needed to do it because I've got a friend who owns a shop, and he said all kids go in the shop now and they're all asking about Sonic, and that's because of the movies.
Because of the games, yeah.
So I think Nintendo sort of had to do it to get that younger audience back in. The only thing that doesn't quite sit right with me is that Mario's got a voice. His name's Charles Martinet. He's been his voice for 20 years. I've met the bloke. Mario's very much got a voice. So to now have Chris Pratt as the voice, it's like,
we
why?
We were just musing on that I don't need a celebrity. I don't need it to sound like a celebrity. Say the celebrity.
Maybe the younger market does. Maybe I don't know.
One of my beloved celebrity voice guys is Tom Kenny, and I don't know if you know who Tom Kenny is. He's the voice of everything you love. He's in every. He's SpongeBob.
Right.
But he's an incredible voice actor. There are people out there that do good voice acting. Get one of them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm very indifferent. I will watch it. It does look good. What they've done looks very polished. I'm sure it will be very good for children. I'm sure it will be very palatable or watchable.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's not aimed at old men, is it? So I'm not,
Jimmy Crane, since you mentioned Actua Soccer, Retro Ghetto, fun fact for you guys, Premier League Manager 98 on the PS1 used the game engine from Actua Soccer 2 for the game highlights. That is something... That's a deep cut. Probably not. Probably Callum will go, yeah, no. There you go. Look. He's all over it. He's all over it.
Premier Manager, yeah.
I'm going to make
the game, Premier Manager. We used to be able to get Miguel Nadal on a free at the start. I remember that. That was like a go-to.
It's funny what you remember, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we were talking before, and you raised a very interesting question, which I'm going to push you on now, and I'm going to make you big because I want to see more of your stuff. Sorry, Andy.
Make me big.
Make my monster grow. So we were talking about games.
I need to hide my room. I'm showing too much room here. Hold on.
Too much room. Yeah, you only get
to read for a bit.
Sneak preview on the toy division. We were talking about video games that then produce toys, which are all of them. But you mentioned toy lines which spawned video games.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'd like to hear what those. I mean, you're going to say it, obviously, but
in what was probably a toy division first, I did a bit of research.
It's a first. It's fair. It's totally fair.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the research. I mean, it's not an Excel spreadsheet.
I watched the other day, and there is my research on the back of my research.
Nice. It's one of them where, like you say, you kind of think, I wonder if there is any. And then when you see the list, it's like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are very obvious. But what I found was, obviously, all the Lego games.
Yes.
Yep.
Bratz.
Okay, yep.
Barbie.
Yep.
Of which I had to buy a couple of Barbie games recently for quite a lot of money. I went for
your own personal pleasure.
Yeah, I went for. I've got the full Nintendo Wii U set, which
okay.
felt attainable at the start because only 164 games. But then you get to that point where you have to spend 50 quid on Barbie games. And it does break your soul a little bit.
Our friend the Viking, Andy, what does he collect? He's doing a full run of, what is it he's collecting?
Mainly just SNES and NES, I think.
Is it SNES? But I think he's at the same point in SNES that it's games that I have no interest in. They're not very good.
Yeah,
£500 each sort of thing.
Yeah. That's where you get. Hot Wheels.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, quite a few Hot Wheels games. Actually, some decent games, Hot Wheels games. Not bad at all.
Micro Machines.
Here's an interesting one, which I wish I had, because I want to be able to show you the box art.
Yep.
Sadly, I don't have it, so I'll be on eBay probably immediately after this stream. There's a Trolls game on the Super Nintendo called Super Troll Islands.
Okay.
As in pencil topper trolls?
Yeah, the hair thing, yeah.
Didn't think they would have crossed over, but my memory's not
good. Yeah, the video game on the Super Nintendo. Micro Machines.
Yeah.
Great game. What a game.
Yeah.
That was a good game, actually.
It was.
Grabbed one of the Micro Machines games. Yeah, I just love this. I love the game.
Yeah.
Used to play with like a pool table or like a kitchen table.
That's it, across kitchen counters and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's pretty much it, really, in terms of that. I mean, there are games that sort of stemmed from cartoons, which then led to both.
Tons of cartoon games.
Sort of Captain Planet games like that.
I've got Ren and Stimpy games and that sort of stuff.
Real Monsters and all sorts.
Mostly rubbish, annoyingly. If you love the cartoon game, it's not
Captain Planet's not held up that well. I watched it not too long ago. He's like a taller, bluer, less charming sort of David Attenborough. And it just, it doesn't translate that well at all, really, when you watch it back. Not happy with it. But this does segment me in nicely to one of my loves.
I didn't know you liked Hercules, mate. We've never spoken about it before.
Which is Disney's Hercules. My camera's at a funny angle now, so I feel like I'm sat like a mum on Christmas morning watching her son. I'm like cross-legged, trying to like.
You did that like a pro. When you show stuff, you have to tilt it, otherwise you just get just a white glare.
The glare. Well, when you've got this kind of head, you get used to it. So I thought this might be a good time for me to show some of my Hercules toys.
Please,
if we've got time.
Please.
Yeah, man.
Again, this has been one of them toy lines that I thought I can't display all of them because I don't need 4 Hercules toys on the shelf. So whilst I didn't have a room to display them in, and I think that often affects the way people collect. When you just put things in a box, I think it's easier to keep buying stuff.
Yeah. You
buy it, you put it in a box, but then when you got a room and you've got like basically a way of displaying it, like a gallery as such, I think the way you collect is slightly different.
You think about it. You think about where it's actually going to go and maybe what has to go to accommodate it.
Have I got room for this? Do I need another Hercules on the shelf?
Yeah.
But I've got just a few of my favourite. I've got a few of my favourite Hercules figures here that I want to show. I'm a Greek mythology fan anyway. So to have a Zeus, I just think it's great. I think it's brilliant.
It's really
This is supposed to fire like a thunderbolt.
Yeah.
It doesn't work anymore. But back in the day, that would have fired.
That is cool.
I'm just a big Greek mythology fan, so to have a Zeus is.
It's a very good Zeus as well.
Yeah, I'm happy. I like him. And then I think this is probably the best of the Hercules figures himself, and this one's actually in really nice condition. So it's like very gold.
That's cool.
And if you watch the shield, it's let me down. We rehearsed this.
Never worked with children, animals, or toys.
There we go. So he's got like these spinners that come out the shield.
That's cool.
And it's all like gold chrome. Not the sort of thing you'd expect to find in good condition. Usually this kind of material is all scratched up.
Yeah.
So that's my favourite Hercules figure himself. But then, you know what's coming, right?
I know what's coming. I almost bought one. I absolutely love it. It's the best.
I think it might be the best toy ever made. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't know if I've ever seen a better toy in existence. That's a bold statement to make.
The Kraken, the
Hydra.
Kraken runs a.
Look at it.
It's brilliant.
It is very.
It's hard to get on camera.
It's brilliant.
I'm holding it like this because these always come off here because it's so heavy. It starts to split So when I display him, I have him propped up because I'm so scared it's going to fall off completely.
Yep.
But yeah, so you've got like all these different heads, and they're all sort of, you can twist them, pose them however you want. Well, not only that, this is dangerous. So you see the tail.
Yeah.
If you pull the tail, I don't know if I'm going to do it.
Don't break it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't break it.
I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to do it manually. So if you pull the tail, the head pops off.
Right.
And then are we ready for the money shot?
Go on. It's incredible.
I mean, there's 3 more.
So you cut a head off and 3 more grow. It's literally incredible. That's absolutely brilliant.
I mean,
yeah.
And then even inside, it's all like the insides look. I mean, come on.
It's brilliant.
Who's going to message the person that was selling one first, Dan, me or you?
I have a
Somebody recently sold one on eBay, and they sold it as like parts, and it went for nothing. It went for nothing. I think it just had, this was like off. You could glue it.
I think
it sold for nothing, like 20 quid.
Derby Collector might have had one.
He did.
Yeah, he did. So I nearly bought a duplicate. Honestly, I was very, very close.
Dan's on his phone now, looking to see if it's available. I reckon.
Oh no, I was just saying if I was going to say if it was him or not.
I felt bad because I spoke to him about it, and it was already a great price. But you know, when you've already got something and you really don't need it, you want it cheaper, just to justify having 2 of something that you don't need. So I offered him a lesser price, and he was right to reject it because it was already a good price. But it was just to make myself feel better about buying 2 huge figures that I didn't need. But I just think this is the greatest toy ever made. I think I'm going to put it out there.
It's an incredible toy, and annoyingly, the only thing that puts me off buying one right now is exactly what you were just talking about, which is I don't have a designated place to put it. I
mean, for me, what I'd do is I'd go like that on a shelf, and then stick it there.
Well, I mean, it's tempting, but to smash thousands of pounds worth of toys onto the floor.
You've got more room. You could fit it up.
You'll see on my room tour, which I don't know if I've said, is going live next week. Hence why we did the video, right?
Next week.
I've done the video, and I was going to ask. Obviously, we're going to spend.
It's going live next week. But you'll see where I've placed this. It's kind of like it works with some of the other Hercules toys that I've got. My little brother had it. It was his generation. He had all the toys, and I just have that memory of him having them. Yeah. But now I haven't. So yeah.
A couple of Matt LaRive, wasn't there a Monster in My Pocket game for the NES?
There was a Monster in My Pocket game. Correct. Yeah. There was a few games on the Nintendo. It's just not my area of expertise. Obviously, there was the Bucky game as well, which I know came from the cartoon. But yeah, there was a Monster in My Pocket game. There's also a Mighty Max game, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Super Nintendo. There's definitely an American release. There might be a PAL one as well, but there is a Mighty Max game as well.
Someone mentioned earlier on, we're talking about hard games. Someone mentioned Battletoads. Shout out to Battletoads. Was it Battletoads versus Double Dragon? Used to love that game.
Yeah, I've got it up there.
Yeah, that's again, has you know them the levels that stick in your mind, like when you're on the motorbikes. I don't know if they're floating or not, and it's just that's it. It's just a question of learning the ups, downs, left, rights to get over the.
Yeah, I think that level's a little bit overhyped. Like, that's like the go-to. It's become like synonymous with hard levels, but you just have to learn it. It's just a pattern.
It wasn't hard. I just remember.
No, it's just a pattern. I think as a kid you might find it hard when you're just trying to like wait and see what comes next. But as an adult, just learn what's coming next.
I used to play the Star Wars trilogy games on my Atari ST, including the Return of a Jedi, and you had like biker scout levels where everyone stuff, and you had to be the Millennium Falcon coming out, and at the time you're just like, it's so hard, and then you just have to remember.
But I'll tell you now, the Super Nintendo Star Wars games are ridiculous. They're ridiculous. They're so hard, and it's a shame because they're so beautiful. And as you progress through the levels, you play as different characters. You can play as Chewbacca and Luke, etc. But you're not going to get that far. It's horrible because it's such a great game, but you have to dedicate a large chunk of your life to get far into the game. It's ridiculous.
I have memories of that, again, talking about my Atari ST, but you spend a lot of time and then you kind of get somewhere on whatever game. I used to play a game called Nebulous and R-Type and games like that, and you spend a lot of time getting somewhere. All of a sudden it opens up this, you're like, oh my God, like these levels are incredible, the graphics are incredible, whatever, and then you end up dying, and it's almost like I ain't got it in me to start. I can't do all that again to see that again. So you only see these things like once or twice.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing about shmups, like shoot 'em ups. It's like the purest form of gaming, but you have to learn. everything, and then you die, and then you have to do it all again. So it's like a full solid hour's concentration to get back to that point.
It's crushing. I mean, you all know the devastation of playing an old school Game Boy on batteries and getting really far on Super Mario Land, and then the light starts to go, and you're like, trying to find a plug-in because it don't save.
Horrible.
Does Retro Ghetto have a collection of handheld consoles like the Game Boy, Sega Game Gear, PSP, etc.? We're talking Switch. We're talking Lynx.
I'm not a handheld gamer.
Oh, okay.
I love Nintendo Switch, but I primarily play it docked. I do take the Switch with me if I'm traveling, things like that. I do collect Game Boy. I love the original Game Boy games, but I play them on the Super Nintendo Game Boy converter. I play it through my Super Nintendo.
Do you enjoy an SP? I love a Flip SP. My favorite.
Oh, the NES one. Oh, I mean,
yeah, the Flip SP.
It's like soft porn, that thing. But I don't really play it. I'm not a handheld gamer.
I played Dr.
That's why I built a room. I don't need a handheld. Just build a room.
I played Dr. Wario when I a little bit.
Sit down and play games on your room.
Some personal information. I always play Dr. Wario, like the Tetris one when I'm on the toilet. There you go. That's what I do when I'm on the toilet.
Tetris is a really interesting game because Tetris is, I think I'm right in saying it's not the biggest selling game of all time, but it's up there because it was a packing game. So it came with the Game Boy, similar to Wii Sports. It's one of the most, because it came with the Nintendo Wii. But to actually buy Tetris as a standalone game in its box is now very expensive and very rare because no one actually bought it as a game in a box. It came as a cartridge with the Game Boy.
With the Game Boy, yeah.
So it's now very expensive and very rare to get an actual Tetris boxed game. It's one of them strange things.
I need to look into that. I've got a couple. I'm not good at most games, almost all games, but I am very, very good at Tetris.
I love that game. It's the simplicity. It's the same with Pac-Man. It's just,
Do you want to hear my little Tetris fact? It's not that interesting. It might not even be true, but I'm going to say it like it is anyway. If you remember around, I'm going to make us all the same size for a minute.
Is this a Russian story?
It is a Russian story.
Yeah.
So
Kremlin.
Around the same time, I've got a double vinyl called Rave 91. Rave 91, 93, doesn't matter. And it has things like the Ambassadors of Funk doing Super Mario Land. And there was a little phase where there were sort of rave songs. And there was Dr. Spin did Tetris.
Yeah, I had the vinyl. Yeah.
Do you know who Dr. Spin was, I believe?
No.
Andrew Lloyd Webber. That's my understanding, that he did it under Dr. Spin.
Wow.
Just made a rave tune out of a...
I never knew that.
Someone Google fact that. It might be. I believe that.
Never knew that. What is a fact about Tetris, which is very... I mean, that game made millions and millions of pounds or dollars because of how successful it was. What the Mother Russia did, because it was a Russian guy. Yeah. But because if you look at the artwork on Tetris, it's like the Kremlin. It's all very Moscow-related buildings.
Even the music feels like... Yeah.
Mother Russia said you can't profit from the motherland and took all the proceeds from that game.
Oh, wow.
To Mother Russia. So, they basically took all the money.
Wow.
So, the individual that made that game, which was the biggest thing on the planet for how many years, didn't make the money out of it.
Yeah. That sounds about right with a creative. Yeah. Just little Jimmy Crane just found boxed Trolls game on eBay. 63 quid. Not paid price used, but complete with manual bots. Yeah. Money for the later down the line games. There he is.
Absolutely.
He's a computer nerd. He doing the Viking. Not seen Willow yet, I don't believe, but Andy will be getting on it.
I'm gonna watch it after this.
He'll be getting on it. Brad, I love how it looks like the Retro Ghetto logo is part of Ryu's Hadouken.
Stop looking at my room.
So, on that note, as we're getting close to our shuttle time, from a toy division perspective, come and see us at Kempton Race Course for all toy things selling and hangs. The last one of the year that I think I'm doing, probably the last one that Andy's doing, I think, because
next Sunday, right?
Sunday coming, just 4 days time. Yeah,
Sunday, 4 days time. Yep.
It's the 4th. Yeah, make sure you're off work. So come and see us at Kempton, buy some stuff, have a laugh. It'll be good. But most importantly, when Callum on the Retro Ghetto YouTube channel, which everyone here follows already, if you don't make sure you subscribe. When does the anticipated room tour drop?
Wednesday.
Boom.
Wednesday, 15:45 GMT. So my normal time. It's going live next week. Which is why this week's video was somewhat an easy video, because I've been sort of putting effort into this video for a couple of weeks now. I've polished and hoovered 3 times in trying to film it and stuff. And yeah,
he's individually cleaned every single case 3 times in the room to make sure it's.
Once was enough. Yeah. But yeah, it's coming live next week. I'm very, very happy with it. I'm very proud, actually, of what I've achieved. I'm just hoping it conveys on camera in the same way. But it's more than that. It sort of means I can do more things that I want to do. Because at the minute, I'm trying not to show the room. Yeah. And off the back of doing the sort of the vlog style videos that I did when I was building the room, and also like the how many video games can I complete in one day episode that I did. Yeah. I've really enjoyed the sort of like the vlogging style video. So going forward on my channel, I'm hoping to do a normal mainline Wednesday edited video.
Yeah.
And then on a Sunday, I want to do like a vlog. So it's going to be like a week in my life in this room. What I've been doing in the room, what I've moved around, new toys, new additions, changes in the room, games I'm playing, all that kind of stuff. So I want to be doing like a regular vlog of what I get up to in here. And then sharing that on a weekly basis. But at the moment I can't do it because it's so hard to film in here without showing every inch of the room. It's like, well, what's the point in watching the room tour?
You got to do the room tour. You are doing it. It's coming out next Wednesday. And I didn't. How did I not know it's Ben's birthday next week? But there we go, Ben.
What a man!
A lovely birthday present.
I just hope it's not like England Senegal next Wednesday. I haven't checked yet.
No, that's Sunday.
Right? Yeah, I don't think that's okay. I think that is Sunday. Yeah. Because if it's Sunday evening, I'm playing D&D. Oh well.
It is Sunday evening, so it won't interfere with Kempton. So everyone come to Kempton. You're not going to miss football.
Are you guys not doing the NEC 27th?
Aaron is, and a few other people are. I think Dave Blade is. There's a few people doing it, but I don't think that.
I can't get up there for Christmas.
Yeah, Hannah's got to work, and I haven't had a week off work since February, so I'm thinking about taking 5 days solid without doing anything. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably be there as a buyer.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be there.
It must be like a holiday for you guys to just go as a buyer, then, right?
It would be, yeah. It's annoying because I'm in this weird state at the moment that it's a 200-mile round trip, whereas before it's like, well, I'll buy a bunch of stuff, but now I'm like, I'm trying to get rid of things. I'm trying to, and I keep buying small things. Don't mind buying small things. Got places for them, but I've got some absolutely enormous things that I just want out of my life. So
I've just ordered something.
While we're online, he's ordered £300.
That's why the screen went down.
Have you seen these? These are from a Hong Kong-based company called Big Boys Toys.
Look at that.
So I just love the art style.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's excellent.
But they're very expensive because of shipping and whatnot. To get here, because as I say, they're a Hong Kong-based company and they don't seem to have any interest in sending to the UK or making it easy to buy in the UK. But they've recently released a Sagat, and if you thought this looked good, that looks 10 times better. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to the customs notice coming in.
I know,
but yeah, I've got a Sagat on the way.
I know you love Street Fighter. Would you say Sagat is your number one? I don't mean character to play with. I mean like visually and collectible. Is it?
Yes, 100%. So I'm very much basic bitch when it comes to who I play with. I play with Ryu, just because I don't deviate characters. I'm not skilled enough to go from one to the next. Like I have to learn a character and that's it. Like I'm just going to be that character every single time and try and get really good at it.
I was like that with Dowson, but Blanca was always annoying to play against because
Yeah. But in terms of like the look and the art style, it's definitely Sagat. And I've got the last 2 toys next to me that I haven't shown yet.
I want to see them. I was going to say before we go, show me what you got.
So because I collect so many Street Fighter figures, I just thought it'd be good to show you guys an example of an older figure and then a newer figure.
Yeah, man.
So this is arguably the most sought after of the Sota toys. It's not the most expensive because there are really rare variants, like ridiculously rare variants that you just don't see. But this is a very sought after one, and this is the Sagat Sota figure.
Is he? Has he been working traps? Is he?
Look at that.
Andy, what do you reckon? Do you think his head's too small for his shoulders?
Definitely.
I thought we were going to get through. It's 4 minutes past 10.
And what about
we managed to get this far. Hey. The only other thing I'd say as well, anybody out there, I've learned this the hard way at work. I was office-based before. Don't Google Sagat and Sagat toys. There's a well-known certain... How to explain this?
It's not safe for work. Is that what I say?
Let's just say there's a guy called Sagat,
right,
who has an interest in other men, and he's very...
And sometimes they bring toys into the equation, so don't Google Sagat toys.
Absolutely. Be very careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is... Well played, Dan. But yeah, this is the Sota Sagat, which I love. I think it's a perfect toy in many ways.
Yeah.
He's actually got big feet, so he stands up.
Perfect. Chunky ankles as well. Lovely.
Chunky ankles. Yeah, just a great figure. And then on the newer side of that, you've got the Storm Collectibles, which, as I've said before, are very expensive toys. So this is the newer one.
It's really cool, but I think the Sota one is more stylized in the way that I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So again, you get all the bits that hide the joints and stuff. Yeah. What is really cool about these is the amount of accessories you get. And if you only have 1 or 2 figures, you can do so much great things with these. Yeah. I used to have this displayed where he was sort of he had like another Ryu figure in like he was holding him by his throat like that. Yeah. There's so much you can do with them. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of show you the difference in a modern one.
Does the M Bison come with everything? And you can imagine like cloaks and hats and...
Yeah.
Oh no! Look at all them games, everyone. Sneak preview.
See you more in the room! The room tour's cancelled.
That's it. Yeah, that was room tour. That was room tour. That's brilliant. I love it.
He's got like this cape thing. But he's got very loose hips. Very loose hips, look.
That face is excellent, though. I think you might have just lost a hand and all.
Get it. Gone. Get it. Get the super glue out.
So get a blue tack. Get that thing.
Yeah. You know when you buy things on Amazon and it gives you weird like suggestions and you think, why do I want that monthly? I'm going to start doing it with super glue. I'm going to get a monthly subscription to save 5% on super glue because it seems to be all I do.
That's so funny. Other buyers that have bought NECA toys have also bought super glue. Yeah. Pedal bins.
Other buyers that have bought from Ben have also bought.
Amazing. Yeah. Paracetamol. You buy NECA for you. Other buyers that have bought Mythic Legions have bought subscriptions to Rage Monthly. Hair dryers. We bought a lot of hair dryers, Andy, haven't we, for Mythic Legions? Got to heat them up before you move them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'd have thought by 2020 and paying £150 for a figure, they'd just work.
I don't know, man. I've got 1/6 like Hot Toy style things, and they come with all these accessories. But don't for a minute try and change their hands because you'll never get it back on again. That sort of stuff. It's
stupid. Stupid, really. Yeah.
Well,
before Callum shows us the whole room.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. And Ben, obviously, we'll see you on Sunday to wish you happy birthday. But yeah.
Oh man, Ben's gonna get.
Oh, look at that!
Jesus.
Callum's changed.
You're gonna fill in for me, look.
That's Have you got any more 1/1 busts, or is that your like?
No, that's the only one. I missed. You know, when I was that one that got away.
Yeah.
There was a Kratos.
Oh.
And I was actually on holiday at Cotswolds at the time.
No reception.
And I was so tempted to leave the family for 6 hours. And to this day, there's not a day goes by that I don't regret not leaving my family for 6 hours. I mean,
I look at my family and I go,
the £7 cream tea that I had was not worth. The memories are faded, right? In comparison, I had my child was like 6 months old at the time, and they proper guilt tripped me into not going. But if the chance came again, I would be gone.
Yeah,
Daddy would be gone, and he'd be back 6 hours later with a Kratos bust for £200 as opposed to £2,000. But you know,
and for the rest,
I'm over it.
For the rest of your life,
your child will never remember that day either. Just saying.
He'll never remember you being there, but he would always enjoy the Kratos. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
My missus has kept a card. She made me write a birthday card for his first birthday. Why? I wrote in it, I'm writing this because your mum made me to. You can't read. What's the point? And she's kept it.
It's an absolute shame on many levels that
it's a shame
that Rye couldn't make this stream due to work commitments, because I know he'd enjoy a long conversation with you about the parental responsibilities, most of which make no sense. But on a game related,
and I'm a middle child, so I got nothing. Like
you got nothing. You got
yeah, so I resent my child getting everything because I had nothing.
Yeah,
I didn't even know where I was most of the time.
Well, what it does mean, Rye not being able to, like, he is the sort of most significant gamer out of us lot.
I mean, I've been useless. I've literally just been a viewer.
No, it's all good, man. But we'll have to do this again and get someone that has experience of new games, because I know you're an absolute wizard when it comes to new games. Whereas all I go is Donkey Kong Country is the best game ever made. Let it go, man. Let it go. It's been 30
I love that
years.
though, because retro's my heart. That's that's why I enjoy collecting. Really.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So everyone, come and see us at Kempston on Sunday, but most importantly, make sure you get right on the Retro Ghetto YouTube video drop. I say this time next Wednesday afternoon, and I will definitely be watching that, because you've had me in a state of suspense as to what the whole thing looks like and how it's been put together.
You had us at hello.
You had you had me at I think it's finished, and then cut. No!
And you actually messaged us. It was like, has anyone watched the new video? Cliffhanger, not good.
Like, kill me. Forget about your 40 hours on football games, Callum. I put hours and hours into the. I feel like
do you not sort of check how long's left on the video? Do you not sort of see the?
No, I realised it was coming up. I just assumed the next week was going to be. I'm like, I'll be nice next week, and I'm like, oh, he's going to
6 months later.
He's going to make me wait. But it'll be worth it. It's all good. Thank you very much to those in the chat. Always apologies I didn't get to all of your stuff, but I was enjoying chatting with Callum. So
there you go.
Whatever.
That's it.
Thank you very much for joining in, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys on Sunday. We will see you all again next week, where we'll do this all again forever and ever and ever, until we ourselves become plastic and then fuel. Right, Callum, thank you so much. Retro Ghetto, always a pleasure. We will do it again. Andy,
thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Bro.
Thanks for coming.
Weird awkward wave while I press end broadcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And again.